Welcome to Heroes and Droids, your guide to movies and TV shows about superheroes, sci-fi, Disney, and action. From Marvel to DC, from Star Wars to Star Trek, from James Bond to the Fast and the Furious. We will review the theatrical films, and streaming delights you care about most. Tonight we are reviewing Hawkeye, Episode 5, titled Ronin, as the MCU goes wide before it gets wider. Let me introduce the crew, starting off with Christopher Slattery. He's known as the Slattman. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. There's a lot of good going on. This has been a heck of a week for MCU on TV and in the theaters. Oh my. All right. Also joining us is podcasting rock star and international cosplay queen, Vanessa. How you doing?
Good. I wore my ugly sweater just for y'all.
Yeah.
It even has a jingle.
I know it's got that crazy superpowered reindeer on it.
It is, yeah. Randall.
When is he going to be in the MCU?
Is that what you called it, Randall? That's great. All right. Yeah. When's he going to be in the MCU? There's the Spider-Man team.
As long as I get to go too.
All right. Well, let's welcome award-winning filmmaker, Christopher G. Amore. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. And by the way, Florence Pugh, if you're watching this, if you ever want to drop Zach Braff, I'm here for you.
Yeah, you go. Yep.
Zach Braff. That's who she's dating.
That's who she's
Wait,
dating.
really?
Who's very, much older than her.
Has no one ever shown her Scrubs? Because she would immediately change her mind.
Oh,
what? That is
Scrubs.
I like Scrubs. I don't like JD.
Yes, you heard it here first. You heard
Fair
it here
enough.
first.
Okay, do you not like the character or do you not like the way he's acted?
I don't like that character because I also don't like the How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, Ted?
Like
Ted's an
they're
ass.
the same kind of guy to me, and I'm just like, they're no Hawkeye. Let's put it that way.
Where's the show going?
Sorry, I'm taking the show off the rails, and I apologize with my love for Florence.
I know we're here to talk about Hawkeye. We're talking about. I don't even
Sorry,
know.
the Russian accent just gets me hot and heavy.
20-year-old.
Oh my gosh, yes. All right, what we're going to do as we review this, we're going to give our first impressions. That will be spoiler free. If you haven't already watched it, come on. And then we'll get into a full discussion, spoilers, Easter eggs, and all. And then we'll wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. Let's do the card. That's not it. Let's do the card.
It's a good one, though. It's a good one.
It was. Season 1, Episode 5, December 15th, 2021, titled simply Ronin. No, it's not written and directed. It's written by Jenna, Noel, Frazier. It's directed by Bert and Bertie. The cast includes Jeremy Renner, Hailee Steinfeld, Florence Pugh, Alaqua Scott Cox. I just can't even do names. Vera, Farmiga, Tony Dalton, Linda Cardellini, and Frazier. And then maybe an appearance from somebody else. Synopsis is: a fallout nearly derails their partnership, but Kate makes a discovery that changes everything. Quite literally. All right, let's get into this. Let's start off with the Slattman. Slattman, what was your first impression of Hawkeye, Episode 5?
It was very, 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 very good.
Oh my! I made comments with that. Oh my god.
Yeah, I was very impressed with it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I think I enjoyed Episode 4. Which is I think a little surprising to me, but I don't know, this one has a lot of really good moments between characters and a lot of really good moments with characters by themselves, I think. And it probably has the most badass Hawkeye moment, I think, maybe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in spoilers, I guess.
We will indeed.
But yeah, I was impressed with it. I thought the direction is great. Bert and Bertie, man, they're they're batting at 100 right now. 3 out of 3 on excellent episodes. So
Yes,
you know,
yes, give him a movie. Give him a movie now.
yeah. But yeah, I can't really say much more without getting into spoilers. So I'll just leave it at that.
Leave it at that. Vanessa, you're up next. What was your first impression of Hawkeye episode 5?
They just keep getting better, right? You think like you've seen how good it can get, but it just keeps getting better and better and better. The scenes where, like he was saying, you have this strong emotion, these moments, characters by themselves having these big moments, and then these amazing badass things happening throughout the episode, and all these revelations that are happening too. I don't know how it's like they use every single minute. They fill every minute with as much as they can, because man, I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know how we've gotten from point A to here and they've fit in this much cool stuff, action, Christmas time. I love it.
Yes. All right, Christopher G. Moore, you're up next. What was your first impression, sir?
Another great episode. You know, that ends in a very awesome way.
Yeah.
And without spoiling stuff, I'm just saying.
He's a mean one.
Yep. But yeah, I there's so many. I think for this, there's so many sort of wonderful moments in this episode. You know, there's a dialogue scene that happens between two characters. There's a one scene where it's just a guy talking to, you know, someone who isn't there. I mean, there's like so many moments that like they're kind of powerful. You know, there's a really great action scene that feels very like Tim Burton's Batman.
Yeah.
Cool. But where you see, you know, something happening and people are being dragged off into places. So yeah, I mean, I really, really love this episode. It's really, there's some great moments with the characters, and I joke about my love for Florence Pugh, but good Lord, give her like her own series or another movie or something.
Yes.
She has this personality, and I think that personality works really well with Kate too. So if they want to do like a buddy thing between those two, I'd be okay with that. But I don't know. Her ability to show strength and vulnerability in the same character. And I hate to say it, you know, for those people that like Black Widow, I like Yelena better than Black Widow because she has more of a personality about her. And maybe it's just a jokey, the way she goes about it, even if she's trying to interrogate somebody. But yeah, I think there's some really wonderful moments in this that like, I can't, if you told me before we started watching this series that I would enjoy it as much as I would laugh in your face because I really thought this show was not going to be anything. But this is turning out to be one of my favorite shows, mainly because they're doing such a great job in sort of fleshing out probably one of the lesser characters in the Avengers, Hawkeye. You know, he's a guy that shoots arrows, but they're giving him a whole lot much more of a level of personality. And there's still an element of mystery, but they can't keep pulling layers out that you know, it's like, oh crap, we're getting to the very end, and I want like a million more episodes because I'm really enjoying this show. Yeah. So yeah, another great episode.
I agree. Another great episode. It starts off with an incredible realization of a certain event. We'll talk about that in the spoilers. And then it just gets into a really fascinating look at the characters that we've put in place over the past 4 episodes, right? And relationships and dialogue between them. And we have a lot of nods to Natasha in this that, you know, are really heartfelt and meaningful. And then it ends on a bang. And it's I mean, even before, I will say this for those who know, that even before the final moments, I already thought it was a great episode. I already thought I was having a great time. And then it just elevated to like, I don't know, a special place. I'm like Christopher said, I was a little more optimistic because, well,
you're always optimistic.
But Hawkeye needed this, right? Hawkeye's character has always been kind of, pushed aside, like Christopher was saying, and this is giving him a chance to shine, and giving Jeremy Renner a chance to shine too. He's doing a great job. As a matter of fact, everybody's doing a great job. This is really a wonderful cast. And before I turn this over to everybody again, just a quick shout out to Bert and Bertie. They are truly doing fantastic. These past 3 episodes have been incredible. Handling quiet scenes, dialogue, action. Give them something. They are impressing the hell out of me. All right,
It might be the 3 best episodes that they've made in the Disney Plus MCU shows.
Good, definitely in the top. Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get into spoilers, but let's go ahead and start off first with our because it's Christopher's Easter eggs, sir.
First of all, the very beginning, we get sort of an interesting snippets from the Black Widow film. In fact, it sort of opens with the antidote spray. You hear that sound of the antidote spray in the very beginning. She's wearing a new vest. Because she gave her old vest that had all the pockets. It's got pockets. She gave her old vest to her sister, so she's got a brand new vest in this. The woman that they're sort of like hoping to possibly turn back if she hasn't been, which we find out she's doing her stuff by choice. She's adopted a kid because if you remember, all the people that were in that sort of Red Room program, they had hysterectomy, so they couldn't have children. So of course, naturally, she had a child, and because of the blip, maybe it might be one of those abandoned children because of the blip. You never know.
Could be.
Yelena makes mac and cheese for Kate, and if you remember from the Black Widow film, that's what her favorite thing that she wanted her
when she was young,
her mom to make was mac and cheese. If you ever want to have mac and cheese with me anytime, you can. And we'll put some sriracha on that sucker.
Chris, mess around, get burned up in a bear suit. That's all I gotta say.
That's true. You know what?
Stay away from the bear suits.
Sorry, Florence. You're not my type anymore. I know where I'm going to end up.
Just don't go to Europe with her.
Yeah, I'm gonna. If I find a pubic hair in my pie, I know it's over.
Time to go.
Well, if you haven't seen, anyway, if you haven't seen that film, you probably are like, what the hell is Chris talking about? Okay.
Samar for those.
Also, she makes a little joke. She makes a joke like, "Don't you like Christmas with presents?" And I'm not going to do her Russian accent because she's not as good as Florence Pugh. If you remember from Black Widow film, they make really fake mock-ups of all these different holidays for pictures and stuff. So it's kind of, she was the young girl that was really sort of into that, the young sister that was into it. But so there's almost like this different level of like mockage as well as like, it's something I always wanted to do because they always had this sort of play that it was real. Now we have that one wonderful moment with Hawkeye at the little the thing with all this is the Avengers, the original Avengers or whatever. That was actually the Pershing Square Plaza Bridge, which is actually that famous shot in the Avengers where the camera goes all the way around everybody. That's that bridge. So that's that one awesome moment in the Avengers. Also, when we're looking in a room and she's looking around a room, she has a boomerang in a room. So that's on the. So we now kind of know why she made the boomerang comment because she actually has a boomerang. She's like, oh, why can't you have a boomerang arrow? Also, if you haven't noticed yet, and we've talked about this previously episodes, there's a lot of Die Hard homages. There's a lot of Die Hard stuff. And there's one big Die Hard moment. Do you guys know what that was?
I don't.
Okay. Well, when the tracksuit guys are driving, they're playing Christmas in Hollis. Which is the same music that plays when Bruce Willis is driving with his the the driver Argyle.
Argyle! Oh, my God.
Is playing, and he's like, "What is this?" And he's like, "Hey, it's music." And Bruce Willis is like, "I don't know what this is." So anyway, we get a nice little callback to Die Hard, which is about every episode to have different things. And I'm sure with the episode 6, if it ends up in the same building, that's the same tower from Die Hard. So, and that's what I love about it, because it feels very Die Hard. We got our last episode. They had the DVD of Die Hard, so they have a literally Die Hard Easter egg of the actual movie. Also, one little thing, if you pay attention to, when we have that big moment between Maya and Hawkeye, when she gets the reality of like, oh, you know, her number one guy is one of the guys that tipped off her.
He set him up. He set him up. Yeah.
When she leaves that used car lot, the used part is just in frame in the background. So in the same way that she's used, in the same way that Hawkeye talks about how you're sort of used when people in that job, when people like set you up and do different things. Also, lastly, of course, we finally get confirmation that Wilson Fisk, Kingpin, is a part of the canon, actually.
MCU.
And you made the joke earlier. They had the mean one, Mr. Grinch, which is, it's also a call out to him as well. Also, if you pay attention to the end credits, there's a silhouette.
I saw that.
Of
that
Kingpin
was so good
over the city. So, really nice sort of thing. And of course, I saw some people on TikTok they were like, "Is that really Wilson Fisk?" Because the picture wasn't very grainy. But if you look at the end credits, it says Vincent D'Onofrio. Who confirmed it through his Twitter that he's a part of it.
It's him.
So anyway, that's a few of the things. I don't know if you guys saw any other things, but that's a few things that I noted, or basically cribbed from other people on YouTube.
Well,
I'm not gonna lie. So.
But I noticed that the 2 Russian guys were talking about the Royal Tenenbaums, and they were dressed up like the Royal Tenenbaums.
Well, they also make a reference to the guy in the Olympics who did the power symbol during the Olympics and stuff. But yeah, the Tenenbaums, which actually I think New Rockstars have mentioned, Tenenbaums I think is that Russian or whatever for like Christmas trees, which is actually Christmas trees are the one thing they got.
Tannenbaum is German.
Tannenbaum,
Tannenbaum.
Tannenbaum. There you go. Which is Christmas trees, which is actually what they got surrounded from in that previous episode where they had all the arrow that like
the arrows at the skull.
Put all the Christmas trees around them. But I thought that was funny too, where they sort of made references to other movies and stuff like, hey, because they also made a reference to like what's the
there was another one,
the mafia show on
Sopranos.
Sopranos,
yeah.
Because the main
And
soprano was
like,
always
Sopranos.
wearing a tracksuit. So.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the beginning of the episode, because I was a little confused at first. Well, I wasn't confused. I was just like, why are we here? I wasn't confused about what was going on. But then we get the blip. But we get the blip from
her perspective.
Yes, and it's so freaky. She basically is gone for just a second, and the room changed. It was
you get to see that you get to sort of see this sort of weird slow time change, how the environment changes around her. And actually if you watch, the water goes through her hand. So it's a really, I mean, it's because we've seen all these other moments. We got a little bit of that in the WandaVision when what's her name came back. So we get a little bit of that.
We got it from Far From Home as well.
Far From Home as well. So we get those. But this is kind of nice to see it from her perspective of everything changing around her. Because if you notice, like the door behind her is closed, and then when she blips back, the door is open. So again, it's really, and actually when she leaves that bathroom, it's one long shot actually as well when she meets.
It was so well done, and it actually felt really powerful. We haven't really thought of it like that, right?
No, and I think it's even more. I mean, and I think also what we talk about all the different things, whether it's the directing and the visuals and stuff, but also the dialogue, because you have that one dialogue sequence between her and the woman in the house when we get the information. Is like she realizes her sister is dead.
Yeah, that sets the tone for really the rest of the episode, because a lot of the episode is about the loss of Natasha from Yelena or from Clint. So really powerful stuff. And so it was a great opening. And then, we also get a great dialogue scene between Yelena and Kate Bishop. That was, to me, one of the highlights of the episode.
I love that so much. Because she's interrogating her, but she's kind of being playful. She's not making it. Girls night, I mean, just I wish I could remember some of the different dialogue things, but the way that she interacts, she's just having sort of. She's trying to get to a certain point. There's one specific question she's trying to figure out, but she's sort of taking her a long way. And even when she catches that sriracha and things like that.
Well, when she's trying to convince her to eat, and Kate's like, "Look, you don't have to convince me that boxed macaroni is the most delicious thing there is."
Well, and to me, it's like her and Kate have this interesting way that they speak and how they communicate, and I love that, and I'm attracted by that, because it's just so much fun to see them and to see them interacting, because normally you think you'd have to have one, like, that's why it's great with Hawkeye and Kate, because he's always a straight man and but then they because they have such different perspectives and how they go about things, it's just fun, because it's a game between the two. But yeah, I know that scene just made me fall in love with Yelena so much, because even though she's been through so much shit, she still has a sense of humor about things, and the way that she talks and stuff. Her little things where she's like, even when she's being facetious or being jokey and stuff, it's kind of cute and heartwarming.
She's
even
still
when she's
a little bit soft, and she's very much like her dad, right? Natasha was a lot like her mom, and Yelena's a lot like her dad.
But then she's like, well, no,
we need to see more of it as well.
I'm going to kill him. It's like, even when she's, I'm going to kill him, is very cute.
Yeah, but like at the same time, as we find out later on, she doesn't just do it. She does the research, finds out who exactly hired her, and then tells Kate,
Yeah, and that's because of Kate.
Kate,
that's one of the
things.
Out
too.
Yeah, that's one of the things I liked, is that even though Yelena was in charge the entire conversation, she still heard, something to give her some doubt. And when she looked into it, it rang true. That was really, really well done.
Yeah, well, and her job is to save women, right? She's going around the world trying to save women, or at least she was, when she was doing that. So I think that, connecting on that level too, and finding trust in someone, going all the way back to where she told her not to shoot her. She was like, no, even in that moment, I think that was building on something really cool between them. And a lot of, excuse me, a lot of rumors online are now talking about how she might be folded into the Young Avengers, and
Yelena?
I hope so.
Yeah,
Okay.
and be a part of it all with them.
Although I think she could never leave a room without jumping backwards.
That was really awesome.
What's gonna be?
What do we think of the conversation between Kate and her mother, Eleanor?
When she
came home and she was all upset, and
the
first thing she asked about is, did Hawkeye do this? Right.
I did not trust it at all. I don't trust her anymore at all.
There was,
especially after the end credits scene.
Wow, yeah.
Well, but
that solidified
even before that.
They've been doing a really good job of dropping like little hints and nuggets and stuff for of evil mommy.
When they take
Mommy
Jack
dearest.
off. Yeah, when they take Jack off.
Excuse me?
I just realized I did not mean for that to sound
Let's say Jack away.
When they take her boyfriend away.
I almost spit my
Phrase
drink out.
that.
You almost got a live spit take.
When they take Jack off. No, when they take Jack away.
Jacques.
Yeah. She's hugging her daughter and she's just looking off like all evil. It's like, come on.
Because there's
Why
something
you
else
not?
going
Yeah,
on
I was like,
there.
she's
There's
not
definitely-
hiding her evilness.
definitely
She knows
something going on.
something else is there.
No,
You know,
that was a
either-
whole scene. It almost felt like it started the moment Kate walked in the door, right? Like they
Yeah,
were just waiting.
They
for
were just
her.
they were just waiting there like statues. It was set up.
But then it's one of those things where like I don't even know if Jacques is in on it or
I'm
Is
sure
he a
if he's
pawn
just-
or is he
if he's
a-
just very
yeah.
confident. It's like, hey, I'll be back for Christmas dinner, you know.
You'll
So
see,
I don't.
you'll see.
I love him. I love it.
I mean,
so-
he's the
it's
one
overly
with the
confident.
fortune, isn't he?
Do
Well,
what?
yeah, he can probably buy his way
Yeah,
out.
if he's
well,
the one with the fortune, he's
Well,
probably.
I think he's
well,
going
he's
to
trying to
inherit
get on her
Armand's, right?
fortune, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Oh.
He is.
I misunderstood that from an earlier episode.
It's tricky. It's
I mean,
tricky.
he's a rich man trying to get richer.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
yes.
pretty much.
Or maybe a rich man who isn't rich trying to get rich again.
Or he's making himself. Yeah, he's one of these people that makes himself to be more than what he is.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. That's
To
the
try to
character.
marry rich.
But they say that when people lie, they have a tell, and Eleanor has tells left and right. Every conversation there's a tell.
Well, yeah, she might as well be wearing a red flag as a dress because I mean, yeah, it's at this point, and then it's like it's one of those moments like, okay, we definitely need to spell it out by her meeting with Wilson Fisk at the very end.
Yeah.
It's like let's make sure we make everybody in the audience know her mom's not a good person.
I mean,
Yeah.
as if it wasn't obvious when Yelena was following her just like a little bit earlier in the episode.
Yeah, I was happy that's what she was doing.
Mhm.
That made me happy to see
Yeah.
Yelena
So
doing
where's
that.
that gonna go? She's got to make
Also,
up with Clint at some point. She's got to talk to him.
Maybe.
Well, they're gonna be wearing their new outfits.
I know.
The
They got
last
their new
episode.
outfit.
Let's talk about that because there's a couple more moments we should talk about before we talk about the end, and that's when Hawkeye goes back to
Grills.
Grill's house, and one of the sweetest, touching moments is him just laying on the couch and saying, I do, but just not right now. And then he's got Lucky the pizza dog in his lap, and he just kind of
Which they still haven't named yet.
right. Well,
Grills
they-
says he has a
Grills
name
says he
for
has a
him.
name.
Dog.
We know what the name is. It's Lucky, but
It's
he
gonna- it's gonna be Lucky.
but I just thought that was I don't know why that scene resonated with me quite a bit.
Because it shows the humanity of Clint. Like he still goes off and he does all these things. He was still an Avenger. We get these flashbacks to these huge moments where where Natasha takes her life for the world, basically,
Right, for the universe.
for the universe. But he's still just a guy. He's not a god. He's not a super soldier. He's not even super rich. He is just a guy who's really beat up at
Yeah.
that point. And it's just so relatable. It's so relatable because easily insert soldier, into that role, and it's this almost the same thing.
I mean,
Or-
a good example of it is crap, I lost his name. John Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, just look at how Hawkeye could have gone wrong.
Yeah.
True. And he had gone wrong at first until he met Natasha, right? So
Well, and when Natasha and Natasha was who saved him from being the Ronin all the time too.
that's
Mhm.
true.
Saved each other.
She killed Ronin, right? So, and of course, Hawkeye, you can tell that he still misses Natasha very much. Not that you can't tell the entire episode, but when he stands at that monument and he says, "Natasha, I need to talk to you," right? That was a great moment.
He takes his hearing aid out,
Mhm.
Yep.
because we have those moments where he's always taking it out just to be if things annoy him, but you realize he's using it for his way to sort of tune out the world, and so he can have this one-on-one thing with
Mhm.
with Natasha, and it's a very simple moment, but it's effective in what it's about. You know,
Yeah, it
because
really is.
I mean,
And he
sure.
puts the
you know,
hood
we-
up.
well, but the thing is, like, we have all these people like, thanks for saving us, thanks for saving, you know, the world and stuff, but he's still torn by that because
Mhm.
she helped save him, but he couldn't save her. You know, I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
she helped to sort of save the universe, but he feels like he should have been the one that sort of like, because she's had, I mean, as this sort of Black Widow character, she's sort of like given so much of herself, and she's never really had much of a life.
Mhm.
And he's had a life, he's had a family, and she hasn't really been able to have anything.
Yeah, which was the same
And-
reason that she, did it instead of him.
Well, she did it,
Mhm.
yeah, and it's really sad, you know. So that there's, I mean, granted, as much as I love this show because it's more fun and enjoyable and stuff, but it definitely has more of a heart to it. But it's not
Mhm.
like a dark heart that makes you feel like, oh, I need to go like take a bath or something. It's one of those things like, oh well, we can all sort of associate with that. Where it's like, oh man,
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
You know?
it's emotions, real emotions, and it really works. Speaking of that, let's talk about the conversation between Hawkeye and Echo, who I don't think has the name Echo yet, but
not yet, still Maya.
it's Maya. But Vanessa, I'm really interested to hear what your take is. What do you think of that conversation?
I really liked that is how they handled that. First of all, the lead up to that was
Amazing, right?
amazing. But the way that they interacted in that moment and how he tried to connect with her on a level that he felt would be personal to her, you know. You
Mhm.
don't know that you're being used, but you're being used. And I think you pointing out that sign in the back, like, I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again because I didn't notice that, but that is so like poetic to put that in there. And she's such a strong character, right? She's a strong person. She doesn't want to show emotion. She doesn't want to show weakness. But you can see the doubt in her eyes when she starts to hear that kind of thing. She's had this narrative her whole, or since that event happened, right? In her mind, if I kill the Ronin, then it'll be closed, right? It'll be over. I will have gotten my revenge. But then to hear like, well, this is not exactly what you think it is. It's just, I just really like it. And I know I keep talking a lot about soldiers and stuff, but it's just so relatable to the soldier, to someone
Mhm.
who is being used for something, even though they think they're doing something great this whole time. It's just, you just see it in so many different ways, the way that they're telling the story. And without that, without the way he approached her, you wouldn't have got Kate back in the picture. You wouldn't have got
That's
Kate
right.
saving him this
Right.
time.
Right, and it isn't a coincidence that it's Kazi that's blocking out the cars part of used cars. Making-
Man,
Um,
he's gonna be in trouble.
he is. And I think he knows. I think he
yeah.
knows it too.
Yeah, I think I for some reason I don't think he's gonna live past episode 6.
Yeah, it's either Uncle is gonna do something or
Yeah.
Although-
Maya's gonna do something.
Well, and let's all give some like props to the actress playing Maya. This is her
Yes.
first acting role, and I think
yeah,
she's
she's
doing
doing
such a
great.
great job in that role because she's having to, you know, it's one thing when you're having to deliver dialogue and stuff, but because her character, you know, is naturally hearing impaired, she's having to deliver stuff just, you know, expression wise, you know, or not, you know, but she's having to hide it in her eyes and her expression and stuff. And so
Mhm.
I you know, and then physically she's having to do all these different things. So I think she's doing such a great job because you can sort of feel, I mean, she doesn't have to come out and say like, you're a traitor. You know,
She didn't have to.
you
She's-
see it
she's
in her
doing
eyes
Yeah.
and the way she responds to stuff. And she, I mean,
Yeah.
definitely she signs and stuff, but you can see like, okay, I know you killed my dad and you're not going to live very long.
Or you were complicit at least
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
in it
yeah.
happening.
Well, speaking of his uncle, there we finally get the big reveal, the one we've been talking about all season long, and it's hey, this looks familiar, that looks familiar. Who's this big man they're talking about? I think we know. Slattman. How did you feel when they finally revealed with the picture on the phone? Wilson Fisk.
I was ecstatic. I also was so happy that the collective internet MCU fandom did not get screwed over again
No Mephisto.
by like another Mephisto moment where it's just like, man, all of these signs, all these things look like they could go that way. No, they did it deliberately this time instead of Easter eggs, and
I love it.
holy crap, it works out so well. And with the with the rumors of Charlie Cox playing Matt Murdock again, like it really opens up a whole new, like it opens up a whole new door for the MCU, and especially if they're gonna keep telling stories that are very smaller scale, like the Hawkeye one.
Street level. Yeah, definitely.
Kingpin can be the next Thanos of New York.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the comics, Daredevil and Echo were a thing. They were a couple. So with Feige, well, he kind of did a little bit of everybody in his own show. But Feige saying we're going to see him, but I won't say when, and you don't know when. So I would not doubt at all that we see some Matt Murdock in the Echo series.
I hope so. Yeah, I think they're setting up
That'd be nice.
a lot. The storyline's the thread's gonna continue for certain.
Although I was disappointed after watching and this is such a stupid disappointment. After watching Into the Spider-Verse so long, I was kind of expecting Kingpin to be more of a hulking man.
Oh, no.
And instead he was just like,
that's why you got the picture at the end with him over the city.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
his actual
Well,
size.
he's a little bit more violent, I think, in the Daredevil series than he was.
oh yeah,
in
I haven't
Spider-Verse.
watched the
Oh,
Daredevil
yeah, he was
series
very
since
much
it came
out.
you
out. I need
haven't-
to go and rewatch
He
it.
Those are-
mashes
yes, you
like
do.
people's
We just
heads in the
did.
door of a car.
Yeah.
So
I remember
he's-
being very impressed
mean,
with
he-
his portrayal.
God,
So
I know.
He's the
You
only one
embarrassed
that
me in front of Vanessa.
yeah, boom, smack down on the table. He's also the only person that intimidated the Punisher
Well,
Nice.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
'Cause
he's
he
a
just-
when
hulking mass.
they were in the prison. He's like,
Yeah,
oh man, he's
that's
gonna,
Well,
he's gonna
intense.
mess him up.
Well, that and he's just batshit crazy. So,
Yeah. Oh my god, I just really I want to see a live action. I want to see Luke Cage come back and mentor Miles Morales. I want to see John Barenthal's the Punisher again. Like
I
I
want to see that too.
I'd like to
Uh,
see Jessica Jones. But
Jessica Jones back
me.
in it. Yes, she was so great.
I mean, I guess we'll see if they, even though they may make them as like a separate canon from the series stuff.
Yeah,
It-
I mean,
it-
they definitely have set it up with Loki. They set it up to have it to be variants, but at the same time, we don't have to choose that. We don't have to choose that.
in
But
our
this could
minds, we can think it's all
be whatever we
connected,
want. In the
right?
Matrix, it can all be whatever we. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's give our final. We're not in the Matrix.
Take
Let's
the
give
blue
our
or the
final.
green pill.
Let's give our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. Of course, before we do, we want to invite you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share with a friend, all that great stuff. And it'll all do wonderful things for us. And of course, we want to hear your comments down below. But let's do this, guys. Let's do it. Slattman, you are up first. Final thought, score, favorite scene.
Score is 5. Final thoughts. Holy crap. What a great episode. Holy crap. Kingpin is back. Holy crap. We're getting an hour-long finale.
Yes.
And I cannot wait. This series has lived up. And they have done an amazing job. The scripts have all been solid. The characters have all been portrayed phenomenally. And every character I feel like has had its own time in the oven, and it's all Like it's all fresh, steamy, hot bread right now. It's all delicious.
Wow, Christopher,
And-
you've had an influence on Slattman there with the food references.
And
How
and
dare you
next
steal my references?
and next week I think it's just going to be the honey butter on top to finish it all off.
Oh man.
Yeah, is it unfair to say that if you watched the trailer for next week, there is a little bit more?
I'm not watching the trailer.
Me
Oh,
neither.
okay. I will stop right there.
Me neither.
I want to go in as blind as possible because I want to be smiling as much as possible because I want to be surprised.
I think Christopher G.
Me
Moore knows what
too.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, y'all
Um,
watch this stuff. I like to go in as fresh as possible.
But yeah, it's a 5. I loved it. Bert and Bertie, holy crap, give them a movie.
I heard it coming. It almost happened. It happened in my head.
It happened in my head too. My favorite scene, there's a lot to pick from. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the low-hanging fruit and take the scene with Kate and Yelena.
The low hanging fruit.
Nice.
I
How
love it.
dare you?
I know. Christopher is gonna steal
That scene was like, well, we talked about it earlier, but that scene was so well done, so well written, so well acted, and you could feel the tension through the calming demeanor of both characters.
Yes, yes.
And it was so well done.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, Christopher's. What do you do when your Padawan betrays you like that? All right, Vanessa, you're up next. What is your final thoughts? Your score, favorite scene?
Anakin, I've got the high ground.
You were my brother.
I loved you. I hate
This
you.
is not the
I
favorite
know.
scene you're looking for.
So do the entire movie. Just quote the entire movie. I also give this a 5. I'll give it a 5 right off the bat too. So good. So layered. So fun. So interesting. So many things that are just gonna explode out of this series. I did not expect that at all. You see, in WandaVision, some stuff is gonna happen with the universe. In Falcon and Winter Soldier, there's gonna be
Captain
that.
America.
Yeah, Captain America, like Loki, some Loki shit's gonna happen. Like, I
Yes, some Loki shit's gonna happen.
The new Disney Plus promo.
That's
The
the
Loki
next
shit's gonna
season.
happen.
Season 2.
Loki. Oh, but man, I'm just loving it. I'm loving the humanity. I'm loving the small scale story. I'm loving the characters they're bringing in that we're seeing. I am absolutely loving it. And I can honestly say I didn't know anything other than the movies about Hawkeye and Clint Barton or the story between him and Kate. I didn't know anything about it. So I am loving the story that they're telling. I just can't. We say it every time, man. It's just better and better and better. So many scenes to choose from. So many. I'm gonna give an honorable mention because we already talked about it, and it's that Royal Tenenbaum scene.
Nice.
I
did
saw
not
that
expect
movie in the theater when I was a teenager when it came out. That movie had an effect on me. So for them to make that sort of reference was just like, oh, that was for me. They made that reference for me, I felt like, and it was just so funny and cool. But my favorite scene, I'm gonna take the one where Clint's talking to Natasha. When he takes that hearing. Sorry, Chris. You go last. Sorry.
Scratch off number 2.
Luckily, there's a lot of really great
There
scenes.
are a lot. But that one was really. I almost chose a different one. I almost chose a different one. But that one is just. It's just him when he takes that hearing aid out, and it's not that people couldn't hear him, right? He was talking full voice from what it seemed like. So it was him having that moment in the middle of Times Square, right? The one of the busiest places in the world, Christmas time in Times Square, and he was able to just isolate and talk to Natasha and say, sorry for what I'm about to do.
Yes.
I loved it.
Absolutely. Christopher, final thoughts, score, favorite scene as we go longer than the episode itself.
I
You can do it.
I used to like you guys, but no longer.
Sorry.
Stealing all my stuff. Yeah, another great episode. 5 out of 5.
Sweet.
Just get straight to it. Yeah, it's a fun episode. And I think there's so many great moments, you know, and you know, let's give some props to Jeremy Renner. I think it's nice that, because let's be obvious about it. His character has always been the sort of like the jokey part of the Avengers, you know, like, ooh, he's gonna shoot an arrow at me. And I think they've given him such a level of humanity in this series that it's you know, but at the same time, like, you care about him because you realize, like, yeah, this is just like a normal guy and he's just trying to live his life. And he's also trying to have, you know, his wife and kids. He's trying to live a normal life, but he's also has these great abilities and stuff. But at the same time, you know, he's got arthritis setting in, you know, and he's got to be sore from all these different things. And he's got to put ice packs on everything. So it's you know, so I think he's doing such a great job. And I think there's like so many different interesting storylines that as we get into sort of, as we build up to this finale that's coming up, you know, it's been a fun ride. And I think, I don't know about you guys, but I'm really hoping he can make it home for Christmas.
Yes,
you
I know.
You know, if he makes
How's
it
it-
home like at midnight or in the morning,
Yeah.
Come
you know,
down the
when
chimney.
yeah, just show up, presents, you know, and so I hope he's able to do that, because I think I would be personally disappointed if that didn't happen. And I don't know if it's one of those things that maybe if from this point on, if they do more seasons of Hawkeye, if it's like every season's about a holiday, like maybe the next season's like Thanksgiving and he's got to make it home for Thanksgiving. Next season's about like, I don't know,
4th of July.
4th of July, yeah. 'Cause I was
Kid's birthday.
Independence Day.
yeah, I was
kid's
saying St.
birthday.
Patrick's Day, but I don't think
St. Patrick's Day.
Let's all go home for St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
But yeah, it's really fun. And again, they're doing such a Bert and Bertie. I think these people to pull a phrase from a Community, 6 episodes and a movie.
6 seasons in a movie, right? Yeah, 3 episodes in a movie.
I don't know how many episodes, but yeah, I think they're doing such a great job with this. And so, yeah, and I think it's a combination of so many things. It's more than just the visuals. It's more than just the direction. It's also the dialogue. It's also the actors involved creating these personalities and bringing them to life. And Florence Pugh, I'm sorry. Let me just be so enamored by her. But her Russian character is so just, I just want to eat it up like a cinnamon bun. It's just like, I don't know. Let me stop.
There you go.
Okay.
School us with that.
Bear suit.
Anyway, I will say, since my first 2 things have already been taken, I will say the scene where the Ronin goes against Maya, and when she's having to read his lips and read his sign and stuff, and that confrontation where she gets the thing, like, this whole time she's had this sort of vengeance against Ronin, but Ronin is not really the bad guy. He's more the middle guy. The main guy is the guy she's been working with all this whole time. You know, or actually the person that tipped him off, actually, which is this person that's always been her, you know, number one person. So, so I'll say that's probably my favorite scene. And I think that's one of the important things, is like, you know, because we always talk about like series and movies and the diversity and that kind of stuff when we have a person who's hearing impaired, and how they make that a part of it and how they deliver the information, whether it's through subtitles and reading lips and that kind of stuff. And I think they're doing such a great job of conveying that information through the storytelling. And so I think that more than anything, even though I've loved a lot of the other series, I think that integration of such elements make this this series so amazing and great because you have these characters that don't normally get a voice, who don't normally have a literal voice in the world, getting a voice in this series, and I think that's pretty. Not curse too much. Pretty freaking amazing.
Yes,
Scooby Doo this crap. Scooby Doo this crap.
The Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I will sum up mine saying I just want to thank Feige and all the team for delivering the Hawkeye series, because it could have been a train wreck, and it's not. It's absolutely brilliant, and thank you. 5 episodes in, 1 episode to go, and I'm loving it. Thank you. 5 out of 5. Yeah, no problem. Favorite scene, it's too easy to pick the reveal of Kingpin, even though it was really well designed and executed, and that helped sell it. But one moment that really I found touching was Hawkeye's getting ready to go Ronin, right? And he's talking to Laura Barton real quick, and and he's kind of he's telling her what's going to happen, but there's just something in his voice, right, that needs something, and she delivers it. She goes, "You're not calling me for permission. I trust you. Go in this," right? And it's the relationship that they've established through this series, with the little time that they've had to do so, really, really strong. Very interested to see where some of the hints goes with these two. But they gotta make it over Christmas. If they don't, oh my gosh, the last moments have to be him and Lucky showing up at the door.
So now that we've all had this conversation, we've all given our final thoughts, I have one question for all of you. Assuming that, Kate's mom is like the bad guy that goes to jail at the end of the next episode, or whatever happens to her, do you think that Clint's gonna invite Kate to come home to Christmas with him?
I think that, or the family's gonna come back to New York. I think Kate will be involved either way.
I think that would be such a fitting end.
Yeah.
Well, considering that his wife realized that there's they've been compromised by that the notes and stuff on the family, that might be a possibility.
Yeah.
So, although let me just mention something. Somebody had pointed out that Coulson wore a Rolex watch. And,
that's awesome. That's kind of awesome.
Yeah. So could that watch be actually Coulson's watch?
I love that idea. Could be. That'd be a great way to bring that character around. All right. Well, we need to get out of here. We're approaching an hour, but before I go, I do want to say that, of course, our next episode, we will be reviewing Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm sure you are going crazy this weekend as we're going into the weekend watching it. It promises to be amazing. Pun intended.
It is amazing. Just saying. I'm just thinking about it now, but yeah, it's amazing.
We'll save some of that for the episode.
I'm not going to say anymore, but I'm just saying.
And of course, we will be handling the finale of Hawkeye next week as well, right before our own Christmas, isn't it? I mean, they timed it right. The last episode is the Wednesday before.
It's almost like they did
Christmas.
it on purpose.
On purpose, yes.
Santa's bringing us the final episode.
Yes. All right,
Santa, I know that guy.
Slattman, Vanessa, Christopher, thank you for joining me. This was so much fun.
Yes.
Oh, it's a great series, and I'm glad we could be on here talking about it.
Absolutely. All right, let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
It's not doing anything.